airplane mode there, Mr. Mike?
No, but it ain't gonna ring.
Blame it on Wozniak.
If it vibrates, it'll pick up.
Yeah, it won't.
Okay.
Do not disturb an airplane.
We ready?
Double safe.
Yep, we're ready. We're good.
And yours is on over there? Rachel turned it on.
Good morning. The Inside Look's brought to you each Sunday morning by Gessel Associates Insurance Agency, where we're busy doing the right things for the right reasons. My name's Larry Gessel, and I'm your host. I'm joined today in the studio with my son, Alex Gessel,
Hello.
co-host Michael Morris, Morris
everybody.
Media, and our special guest, Mike Charles,
Hello?
of Belton Paving and Charles Brothers Asphalt. Guys, thanks to all of you for being here today. You know, our show is very special in that each and every week we take a topic and we do a deep dive. We try to peel the onion back, so to speak, to see what's not typically known and or discussed. And really, our goal is to educate, inform, and maybe even along the way entertain a little bit. We definitely do tackle the tough topics. But Mike, over the years, you know, we've had a long relationship, haven't we? We've gotten to know each other quite well. We've conducted a lot of insurance business together, and you and Michael Morris go back even further. You guys grow up together?
No, but somehow like
Kind of feels that way.
Yeah, somebody goes, you should meet this guy and you should meet this guy, and then when we talk on the phone to this day, it's about an hour and a half. I'm not really sure we're getting anywhere, but we are talking and we know each other really well.
Well, Mike, special congratulations. You know, you've been around every aspect of the business for a really long time. You and Denny Dalton have recently partnered together on Dalton Asphalt,
Dalton Paving.
Dalton Paving, and between the two of you, there's nothing you guys haven't seen. So we're kind of excited to get into things. And last week we were talking about some things that really opened my eyes. But before we get into that, why don't you take a minute to introduce yourself, tell us how you got into the business and how folks can reach you.
My name is Mike Charles. I've been in the business 22 years. I just recently partnered with Dalton Paving, and Denny is a good guy, and I've owned Charles Brothers Asphalt the years prior. You know, you could reach us at the phone number's 614-870-7230.
Why don't you repeat that one more time for our listeners?
614-870-7230.
Okay, great. So I know in getting to know Denny, as you guys partnered up and we got involved in the insurance side of things, I heard some fascinating stories about his background and his knowledge of the business, and I can tell you firsthand that if I were a competitor of yours, I would not want to have to go against the two of you guys, because you guys are, it's like playing the Ohio State Buckeyes on their best day. You guys are going to be a tough out. You guys know the business inside out and all the tricks. And
We try to do a good job, give the customer what they pay for.
Super.
And so, Mike, we know there are two ways to get a driveway or parking lot done. One is to recap, and the other is to tear it out and just completely repave. Dad was telling me that you first looked at his driveway. The cracks were not too horrible, but you told him that if he recapped it, eventually those cracks would telegraph through to the new surface. How big of a problem is that, and how does someone know when to be concerned with that issue?
Well, you get what we call reflective cracking.
Uh-huh.
It will eventually
Is that
come
what my
back
face
through.
is doing, by the way? Reflecting.
Yeah.
Pretty around the corners of the eyes.
Over it. If you pay him, Mike will pave anything.
I'll pave right over that.
No problem.
Help me out, brother.
Blacktop paste. It will eventually come through.
Uh-huh.
What we do is we go in, like driveways, we will dig those out with a loader.
Okay.
And pave them back, or parking lots, we mill them out. And
Grinding them up.
yeah,
With the big
Okay.
gun. Okay.
and we mill them and put them back that way. Thickness of the asphalt is always key. It'll live longer the thicker it is. So
Makes sense.
So with that reflective, how do you know then? You know when that's going to be a problem, or how big of a problem it's going to be.
well,
and
if
when
they're
it'll
if
show
they're
up?
wide, if they're wide cracks, they're coming through. If it's shattered up all over, it's not going to live long. Asphalt's only as strong as what it sits on.
Mm-hmm.
So if you put it on something that's moving, it's going to come through. It's going to it's gonna reflect back through the top. And we get asked all the time, can you pave over concrete? Yes, we can pave over concrete, but every joint, every crack in that concrete, within a year or 2 years, you'll see a crack in the asphalt. Asphalt has, you know, it expands and contracts differently than concrete. So it can be done, but it's not recommended.
So if those imperfections in the existing driveway or parking lot are going to telegraph through, how often does that happen? How long does it usually take for that to show up?
Well, it depends on the amount of traffic, the weight of the traffic. If it's trucks,
Sure.
it comes through quicker.
Then again, it probably goes back to how deep the asphalt is, how much,
How thick the asphalt is.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you can pave over something and put 3 inches over it. Your reflective cracking is going to be at a minimal, but rarely would you see a place you could go in and put 3 inches on top of an existing parking lot. So we go in typically and we'll mill those out and pave them back, and that's how you get your life expectancy out of, you know, the asphalt.
So you'll go in and mill out the worst sections, is that what you were saying?
You can do it that way. You can
But
go
you're
in
still
and
gonna
cut
get
out
you're gonna
areas.
still
and
get a
mill out the-
reflective crack, but it's gonna be kind of minimized, right?
Yeah, it'll be
Just-
minimized. And then, or you can mill the whole thing out entirely, which we do all the time, and
Just
put it all
completely
back
tear
in
it
there.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Makes sense.
So I would imagine a lot of asphalt companies, a lot of your competitors wouldn't even advise people and warn them about those lines and cracks the way that you guys do. Might end up just a little bit upset about that finished product when it starts cracking back through.
You have smaller companies that don't have the equipment to do the job properly, so
Sure.
they'll sell around doing the job properly.
That makes
So,
sense, sure.
you know, you get
Yeah.
like seal coating. You'll get guys that'll sell brush coating better. They'll say it's better than spraying. Well, it can be better, but they don't have the equipment to spray it, or they don't have the proper equipment to do the job. So they sell around that.
It's about the tools you have in your belt.
Yeah.
Well, they're also covering for their weakness, right? So it's,
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
that's-
you can't
that's
do this,
covered,
but
right.
let me tell you why we do. So it's almost there, before you get to the question that they're gonna ask, you say, let me tell you the best solution for this now. This is the way they used to do it, but here's how we do it. So they're not really lying, they're just obscuring the real information.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that, and I know later in the show we wanna come back around to the seal coating piece, but you mentioned that, the brushing versus spraying, what,
Mm-hmm.
can you just take a minute to kinda
Pros
say-
and cons.
Well, brushing will push sealer into the pores more. It'll give you a thickness, but you can't brush, you know, a
Huge
10,000 square yard parking lot. You can use a squeegee machine.
Those fellows will be real busy.
It'd be a little bit of work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can use a squeegee machine, which we do have, and we can squeegee. A lot of times you're paying, you know, 40 to 50% more for squeegeeing, and it lasts the same amount of time. So
As spraying.
as spraying, yeah. If both are done properly.
Really?
Yeah. It just puts it into the pores.
Sure.
You're gonna redo it every 3 years anyway. You know, whatever the parking lot is.
So it's not gonna give you a better job to squeeze.
Well, it gives you a better job. You will see some wear. It'll wear better.
Okay.
Last longer.
Sure.
But no matter what parking lot you're working on, you're gonna redo the thing every 3 years.
One way or another.
One way or another.
Regardless.
You know, you're gonna reseal it if it's properly taken care of every 3 years.
Okay. Well, you know, in my case, when you first consulted with me on the driveway, cost was a big determining factor. And I thought back in the day, and I don't remember how long ago that was, it's been a while, but it was like, holy cow, that's a lot of money. Well, that number back then
It's
is a
cheap.
drop in a bucket compared to what it is today. So, you know, I when thinking about how to approach a driveway, that cost is a big consideration. But just out of curiosity, if to repave a driveway costs $10,000, what does that same driveway or parking lot cost to mill or grind up and tear out? What's the percentage difference? Is it double the money, or?
Well, if you're repaving something, it just depends on all in the thickness. You can cap something at 1.5 inches, and obviously it's going to be cheaper than something that's 3 inches.
Okay.
So it just the thickness is the determining factor on the cost more than anything.
But is that where people skimp out on it?
It is
So
where
they'll
people
say,
skimp.
you know, if this is $10,000 at you know, 1/2 inch versus 3 inches, that's where they go, no, we just want to get it done, and we'll look at it and reevaluate it over the years. But you're costing yourself in the long run, aren't you?
You can take a 1/2 inch off of a parking lot, say 10,000 square yards, and put thousands in your pocket. You know, as a contractor.
Yeah, we want to come back to that. You were talking about that. But before we go into that, you one time years ago told me when I asked you, the prices skyrocketed at one point at a certain year. I don't know what it was, but
Yeah.
and I kept saying to you, I'm going to play the long odds and see if they come back down, but they never did.
No,
They've just done
I think
nothing.
I told you that.
You told me. You said, Larry, that ain't going to happen, buddy.
How do you feel about that decision today? while you're looking him in the face,
Yeah.
you're going, I thought I was going to be right.
Yeah. So what drives those costs, Mike? What's behind that?
Oil.
It's a
Oil.
petroleum-based product.
Yeah. But, you know, understand that once it goes up there, it's not coming back.
Kind of like gas
Yeah.
prices.
Yeah. Well, new cars, once they go up, they're not coming down. So you've got oil, you've got labor. I mean, used to, we could hire laborers for $10, $12 an hour. Now the laborers are $15 to $17 an hour. And, you know, all of that changes.
Well, and as we know from us insuring all of your equipment, the cost of the equipment is just unfreaking believable.
Astronomical.
It's
It's
just
crazy.
it's just insane.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
go spend $100,000-$200,000 on this or that. It's nothing for you guys.
No, it's pretty easy.
So, Mike, you told Dad a story that really caught me off guard. Without calling out any competitors, you told him that no one goes out and measures the thickness of molten hot asphalt as it's being put down, and this can lead to some asphalt companies ripping folks off.
Kind of what we were starting to get
Yeah.
into. a
You
little
can
bit.
have your fly-by-night people.
Yeah.
They'll come into town. They'll offer great prices. You know, they'll bid a parking lot. We'll bid one that's $100,000, and somebody will come in and bid it at 75, and
It's pretty tempting.
you know, and they'll say, "Well, I'm taking the one for 75,000." Well,
Yeah.
let me tell you, everybody still makes the same amount of money. So if they cut that price down, they're cutting a corner somewhere. They can't. There's not enough room to drop $25,000 off a $100,000
Yeah,
parking
you guys
lot.
are all you're all bringing asphalt from the same plants at the same
plant.
price.
Yeah.
You're hiring
We're all
essentially
paying
the same labor. Yeah,
You know, we're all
they're
paying
all running the
fuel
same
prices.
equipment. Yeah,
So where do they
where
have?
did the money magically appear from? Right.
Exactly. So
So how do they do it?
Yeah.
they thin the asphalt, and you can't tell by looking at the job. It looks beautiful. It looks fine. You know, 2 or
At
3
first.
years later, you start seeing failure areas, places that things are giving up. You know, 5, 6 years later, things are giving up a little more. A parking lot that should have lasted 15 or 20 years is starting to fail.
So how do you keep that from happening, Mike? How do you ensure that they don't rip you off that way? I mean,
You
this is
can-
a really big deal. I mean, this is
You
thousands
can
and
tell a
thousands of
customer,
dollars.
as a customer, you can tell the contractor you want the weight tickets from the asphalt plant.
Okay.
What does that mean? Why would that
Well,
matter?
you can take the square yardage, divide it by 18, and multiply it by the thickness that they say they're gonna give you, if it's 2 inches or 3 inches.
Holy
And,
crap!
and that'll give
Say that
you the
again.
tonnage.
How do you do this?
Hold on, that's not even the best part. He just started getting rolling. There's more to it.
Yeah, get out that scientific calculator there, buddy. No, so for the average guy that doesn't know up from down, what do they do?
Meaning,
How they-
What he's trying to say is, that how would you as a consumer know what you're getting into? Because again, you're
Right.
going to look at one's $100,000, let's say the other one's 75. You're going, what a deal! I found the guy who can do the same job and so much cheaper, and what a good guy. The consumer doesn't know to protect themselves. What they really need is someone that they can ask that question, right? Like
Right.
you've basically put blacktop on everything in Columbus and beyond. They need to know that there's someone to call and ask those questions. Like when you said weight ticket, I don't think anybody in this room, I've heard it. That's what we call our Tuesday morning phone call. I hear about
Well,
weight tickets, but
when we go to the asphalt plant, we pick up asphalt. we get weigh tickets. If they drop 18
Okay.
ton in the truck, we get a ticket that says,
Okay.
hey, we picked up 18 ton.
Got 18 tons in the
So
dump.
yesterday we pulled 700 ton from the plant.
700 tons?
Yeah.
Just yesterday.
So, yeah. So, and we get
I noticed you look a little
we,
tired
we
today.
get weight tickets. Well, I gotta say, they did all the work. I didn't do things. But you know, we get weight tickets for that. You know, so we'll have 700 ton worth of weight tickets. You know, one at a time, 18 ton at a time, or 20 ton at a time, and you know, the customer can ask for those, and they can do the math and say, well, I have 5,000 square yards, divide it by 18, times it by 3, that gives me how many tons should be in my parking lot.
Or just real simple, so many square feet at so many inches should be so many. Can you do it that way?
No, the best way to do it is, you know,
The way you said.
yeah, or you
A little
can go
complicated.
times 3, divide it by 18,
So what-
either way.
So one way a layperson could handle this perhaps would be to just let the guy know up front as he's quoting and say, by the way, I'm gonna hold you accountable. I'm just, not that I don't trust you, but I don't trust you. I wanna see your weight tickets.
Trust but verify.
So when you
Trust but
bid this, just know going in, we're gonna
Yeah.
get what I
Yeah.
paid for.
Yeah, you can say, I just want the weight tickets when you're
Yeah, I
done.
need the weight tickets. Yeah.
Right.
You
That
know,
might eliminate
and
a
that
lot
lets
of
them know that you're
You know what you're doing.
Keeping an
you're
eye on
thinking a little ahead of them.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's gonna make somebody pucker when they hear the weight ticket and you're speaking their language. They're probably like, "Oh, you know what? We can't do this job anymore. You should call Mike Charles."
I don't know if that'll happen, but I'll take the phone call though, that's for sure.
That's
Are
one
you-
way to keep it from getting shafted as a consumer is to call Mike Charles, right?
Yeah.
Charles.
Yeah.
We will do our
Really
best
appreciate
to
it.
make it right.
Are there any other things that you can think of, Mike, just right off the top of your head, that you commonly see in the asphalt paving business that you kind of shake your head and go, what were they thinking?
Well, you commonly see a lot of things. You'll see people pave driveways without a paver. They'll come out and loot it out. Now, you get a good crew, they can do that, but you got to have a very experienced crew, and those guys are hard to find today.
The
You know,
paver is a machine that the asphalt's getting dumped into, correct?
Yeah.
That's putting it out at a
So,
certain.
you know, you want to hire a company with equipment.
I didn't know that you could do it without one.
Yeah,
I've never
you
seen
can loot
that.
it out.
Yeah, I
And-
never.
What is it called? Looted?
Yeah,
What does that
but you
mean?
could only do a small driveway or some patchwork or something like that.
Basically,
We-
just taking a dump truck and dumping it and
Dumping
spreading it.
some.
Yeah.
in.
Wow.
people do that today, but they're
Sure.
experienced people that do that, and they have to be very experienced, or it's humpy and wavy and
Oh, man.
nasty and
I can't
terrible,
even
and
imagine.
it doesn't look good at
That'd
all.
probably be more for like
So-
potholes and things.
Yeah,
Right.
we do patchwork that way.
Sure.
I mean, it's hard to do a 4x4 area with a paver. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you're gonna loot it out and roll it.
So a term I had never heard of
Yeah.
before. Yeah.
That's
You, and I know we're kind of bouncing around a little bit, but there's different stones in when you do a parking lot or a driveway,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
put a
different
layer
things.
down with a certain size of stone and
We have a
then-
bottom course and a finish course.
Okay.
You know, the bottom course is a little bigger stone, and the finish course a little finer stone, a little nicer, appealing to the eye.
So it just gives a smoother top coat, so you get your strength and base, if you will, for the traffic, and then you get a smoother top coat with a smaller stone. Is that kind of the idea?
Fill in the
Yeah,
cracks
yeah.
between the
Well, the
bigger
smoother, yeah, it just looks better. It's more
Yeah.
appealing
Yeah.
to you to look at.
Sure.
And you said that you typically start with, unless it's a heavy trafficked area with
Mhm.
heavy trucks or whatever, you put it down at what, 3.5 and roll it to 3, or?
Well, no, if we do 3 inches, you'll do 2 lifts. You'll do a 2-inch and roll it to 1.5 inches, and then you'll do another lift at 2 inches and roll it to 1.5 inches.
Okay. So
And
net,
so-
net of 3 inches when you're all
Yeah.
done.
Yeah, so if you're paving 3 inches, you wanna do it 2 lifts.
Now, if you get into heavy traffic or truck traffic, that sort of thing, you're gonna bump it another inch overall
Well,
type of thing, or?
Yeah, if you get heavy truck traffic, the thicker the better, always. Dumpster pads are killer, in front of dumpsters where the trucks, they're just
Sitting there.
I never was.
stupid heavy, and they'll just kill the parking lot.
Uh-huh.
And again, kind of drifting off topic, you know, out in Madison County, now they've the big highway project out there right now, but forever and a day that was concrete out there, and that,
Yeah.
that concrete road base got all busted up and cracked and whatever, and just thump, 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 and just potholes everywhere. But then I think they paved over a lot of that, and eventually, kind of like you said, it seemed to just, everything just telegraphed through,
Came
and it
right
was,
back through, yeah.
and now they've torn it all out.
And worse.
You know, and they're just,
Yeah.
asphalt paving everything out there, and it's quite a mess for right
It's
now.
a nightmare.
Yeah.
It's probably the only bad
Made your
place
life
in
a
Ohio
mess,
to
huh?
drive other than the freeway every single day, any direction you're going. But yeah, I see what you're saying.
But you said you do a lot of paving over concrete. What are those applications?
Well, we don't
Who are
do
those?
a lot. We try to shy away from it.
Okay.
And we will have people call us and say, "Hey, can you pave over my driveway? I don't want to pay the money to tear out the concrete."
Okay.
And,
Okay.
and the homeowner, we don't do it a lot, and we maybe do one a year or something. And we try to push the people away from it, and or I've told people we don't do that. And you know, if it's somebody you know, or if it's something, you know, somebody you can really explain what's getting ready to happen, it'll fail over the concrete, it'll crack.
I gotcha. It's like anything else. It's only as good as the subsurface, the base.
Yeah, asphalt's only as good as what it sits on.
Yeah. That
You
makes
know,
sense to me.
You pave over dirt, it's gonna fail.
You know, as we watch the weather and the sun setting earlier and earlier, and it seems as though we're headed for an earlier fall this year than we normally are. But there's still time, right? There's still time for folks to call you and schedule projects,
There's still
get
time.
seal coating done and that sort of thing.
We are working ourselves to death trying to get.
I bet you are.
Absolutely.
You know, through the season till it ends, and you know, we're still taking jobs and doing things, and
But people need to hurry. If they're gonna get it done this year,
yeah,
they need to be calling you now.
yeah. If not, it'll be next season.
Sure.
So, back to the seal coating for a minute. You had indicated that one of the ways that people get shortchanged is that seal coat guys typically do one of a couple of different things. Can you take a minute to tell us about
There's
that?
many ways you can shortcut sealer. It's cut with water. When we buy it from the plant, we have to put water in it so thick you can't put it down. It's like
Okay.
Jello.
Sure.
And the old adage we always use, anything you can put water in, you can make money with, and those guys will do that. You know, we cut it 30%. Our manufacturer says we can cut it 35. We cut it 30, and we run high sand loads.
That was the part that I didn't understand. The sand load. Talk about that for a
Sand
minute.
adds solid, and it adds durability
Okay,
for one,
okay.
and it adds
Some
it adds traction.
anti-slip. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so you get, you know, kind of the best of both worlds. And
It was kind of like the gypsies. I live out in the country, and you know, every so often we get the gypsies coming up from North Carolina. They want to paint barn roofs and whatever, and a lot of them put that silver roof coating on. And first good rainstorm comes along, it's running down the roof. You
Yeah,
know.
but Larry, as long as it's rain, it looks really good.
Yeah, look good for a minute. Take
Yeah.
a picture, Martha.
you got to rent the silver barn because it runs down the side.
Well,
Yeah.
you know, one thing I really firmly believe, guys, is that day to day, we are in a fight. We're in a fight to fully protect those and that which we love most. And whether it's your farm, your business, or your home and auto, Gessel Associates Insurance Agency is here to help you with that. We can be reached at 614-697-2020. Again, that's area code 614-697-2020. Or you can go out to the website, gesselins.com. That's GESSELINS.com. Mike, we're almost out of time, but for the folks that are listening, could you again tell people how they can reach you for more information?
You can reach me either at Dalton Paving or Charles Brothers Asphalt. My phone number is area code 614-870-7230.
It's hard to believe that we're out of time already. It literally does.
Pleasure as always,
Scream
Mike.
right
Hey,
by.
good to see you guys.
Guys, thanks for all you being here, and to our listeners, until next week, please be kind to one another.
Have a
Thanks.
good day.
Thanks.